All right, ever feel like you're carrying the weight of the universe on your shoulders? Well, get ready to actually hold a galaxy in your hand, at least a version of one.
I like that.
Today, we're diving into those DIY galaxy in a jar projects you sent over,
Okay.
unearthing not just the how-to, but the, whoa, that's deep parts too.
It's amazing how something as simple as a jar can become like a microcosm of the cosmos, isn't it?
Right, it's like blending art and science with a sprinkle of cosmic magic. But before we start crafting, I have to geek out for a minute about the real galaxies out there.
Okay.
The sources mentioned billions, trillions of stars in some.
Wow.
Can't even wrap my head around that.
Yeah, it's truly mind-boggling to consider the sheer scale of it all.
Right.
And those stars are just the tip of the cosmic iceberg. We're
Hmm.
talking entire planetary systems, immense clouds of gas and dust, even dark matter,
Yeah.
all swirling within a single galaxy.
It's making me feel both incredibly small and strangely connected at the same time.
Interesting.
Like, we're part of something so vast and ancient, yet here we are about to recreate it in a jar.
Exactly.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty, what is it about these DIY galaxies that resonates with people?
Well, for some, it's purely aesthetic. They're drawn to the visual beauty, the swirling colors, the mesmerizing sparkle. But for many, there's a deeper connection. It could be a form of meditation, a way to contemplate the mysteries of the universe. Or perhaps it's a way to spark scientific curiosity, to learn about nebula and star formation while engaging in a creative activity.
If you were talking about the different ways people connect with this, I was thinking, for me, it's that blend of learning and creativity. I love that I can be hands-on while uncovering those aha moments about space. But okay, let's get down to the actual process. What do we need to create our own little universe?
The materials are surprisingly simple. You'll need a clear jar, of course, and some cotton balls, which might seem a bit unexpected.
Cotton balls, huh?
Yeah,
That's a surprise. But I can see how they'd work. So, nebulae. I'm guessing that's where we bring in the paint.
exactly. We'll be using acrylic paints in those classic galaxy colors, blues, purples, pinks. And of course, no galaxy is complete without a generous dose of glitter to represent the twinkling stars. You'll also need water and some clear glue to help everything mix and bind together beautifully.
Okay, so we've got our nebula clouds, our starry glitter. What's the first step in bringing this mini cosmos to life?
We start with a clean jar, like a blank canvas. Fill it about halfway with water and mix in a bit of glue. The glue is important for two reasons. First, it helps the colors blend smoothly and creates those beautiful swirling effects. And second, it prevents the glitter from settling too quickly at the bottom.
So that's how we get those long-lasting, suspended in space looks.
Yeah.
Clever. What's next?
Now comes the fun part, adding the color. We begin with the darker shades, like navy blue or deep purple, to create the depths of space. Picture it like the backdrop of the night sky, vast and mysterious.
I can almost feel myself getting lost in those swirling blues already. It's like peering into the heart of a nebula.
Precisely. And here's where the cotton balls come into play.
We
Okay.
tear them apart and gently place them into the water, allowing them to absorb those deep space colors.
So those wispy cotton bits become those stunning nebula clouds. It all makes sense now. But hold on, I have a question. The sources mention different types of nebulae, right? Do those come into play here?
Absolutely. In real space, nebulae aren't just random clouds.
Right.
They're dynamic structures, playing a vital role in the birth and death of stars. We have emission nebulae, which glow with their own light, like the famous Orion Nebula,
Hmm.
a stellar nursery where new stars are being born. Then there are reflection nebulae, which reflect the light of nearby stars. And don't forget the dark nebulae, dense clouds of gas and dust that obscure the light from behind them.
Whoa. So we're not just making a pretty jar, we're recreating those epic stellar events. That's way cooler than I initially realized. And how do we translate that variety into our jar? That's where your artistic license comes in. You can use a skewer or a stick to manipulate the cotton, creating different shapes and densities. Mimic the wispy tendrils of an emission nebula, the smooth curves of a reflection nebula, or even the dense, obscuring masses of a dark nebula. It's all about capturing those unique characteristics.
This is making me want to run out and buy those supplies right now. So we've got our space, our nebulae. What about the stars?
Ah, yes, the stars. This is where the glitter comes into play. We sprinkle it into the jar, letting it catch the light and mimic the twinkling effect of distant starlight.
Wait, so each little speck of glitter is like a whole star system? That's wild. And how do we make sure it looks like a proper galaxy, not just random sparkles?
Excellent question. We want to think about the structure of a real galaxy. They usually have a denser center, packed with stars, and then those beautiful spiral arms, or more elliptical shape.
Okay, so we're not just randomly tossing in the glitter. We're strategically placing it to create that galactic look. I'm starting to see how this project goes beyond just crafting. It's really about understanding the elements of a galaxy.
Exactly. And as you add the glitter, you can even use different sizes and colors to create depth and variation, mimicking the way stars cluster together in different parts of a galaxy.
This is seriously inspiring. It's like we're taking a crash course in galactic architecture while creating something beautiful. So we've got our base colors, our nebular clouds, our sparkling stars. What's next?
Now we introduce those lighter, brighter colors, the pinks, the golds, the vibrant hues that mimic those stunning images from the Hubble telescope. Remember those emission nebulae we talked about? They often glow with these intense colors due to the energy from nearby stars.
Okay, so those pops of color aren't just for aesthetics. They're representing real astrophysical phenomena.
This is blowing my mind. How do we incorporate those into our jar? You can layer them on top of the darker base, letting them swirl and blend, creating those pockets of vibrant light that we see in real galaxies.
I'm picturing it now, the deep blues, the pops of pink and gold,
Yeah.
the shimmering glitter. It's like we're holding a miniature universe in our hands, so
Ugh.
we've got all the elements in. What's the final step?
Once you're happy with your galactic creation, simply seal the jar tightly and voila.
Mm.
You've got your own personal galaxy to admire. It's like a miniature masterpiece encapsulating the beauty and wonder of the cosmos.
Okay, this is way more than just a craft project. It's art, science, and a touch of cosmic magic all rolled into one.
Hmm?
But you mentioned customizations earlier. Tell me, what kind of creative twists can we add to make our galaxy jars truly unique?
Okay, the creative wheels are already turning. The sources mentioned using things like UV reactive paints.
Oh, that's a fantastic way to add like an otherworldly dimension to it.
Right?
Imagine your galaxy jar glowing under a black light,
Whoa.
like a secret cosmic rave happening right there on your shelf. Right. Talk about a statement piece. It'd be like having a little piece of the cosmos, like, come alive at night. What else can we do?
Think about metallic pigments.
Okay.
Swirling in streaks of gold and silver would create a very different feel, almost futuristic or sci-fi inspired.
I love that. It'd be like a galaxy from Star Wars or something.
Yeah.
And speaking of different galaxies, our source talked about spirals, ellipticals, irregulars. Could we actually recreate those different shapes in the jar?
Absolutely. And that's where researching specific galaxies can really enhance the project.
Okay.
Picture a spiral galaxy, like our own Milky Way, with those beautiful swirling arms extending outward from a central bulge.
Hmm.
Or an elliptical galaxy, a smooth, glowing orb, almost like a cosmic egg.
Wow.
And then you have the irregular galaxies, which are more chaotic and unpredictable in shape,
Right.
full of bursts of star formation and intriguing structures.
So we could tailor the shape of the cotton clouds, the glitter placement, maybe even the colors to match a specific type of galaxy. I'm getting so many ideas. But you know, what's really fascinating to me is that it's not just about the visual aspect, right? There's a whole deeper layer of meaning here.
You're absolutely right. The source touched on this, talking about how these galaxy jars can symbolize hope, dreams, the infinite possibilities of life.
Right.
It's like they capture a piece of that vast cosmic energy and bring it into our everyday lives.
It makes you think about our place in the universe, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you look up at the night sky and see those countless stars, it's humbling. And then to create something that mirrors that vastness, even on a tiny scale, it's almost like a meditation on our own existence.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. And the act of creation itself can be very therapeutic.
Yeah.
You're taking these raw materials, these simple ingredients, and transforming them into something beautiful and complex. It's a reminder that even in the midst of chaos, there's always potential for creation, for order, for beauty.
I hadn't thought about it that way, but it makes total sense. It's like we're channeling that cosmic energy into something tangible, something we can hold and connect with. And speaking of connecting, the source mentioned sharing these galaxy jars, sparking conversations about space and creativity with others.
I love that idea. It goes beyond just making something for yourself.
Yeah.
It's about sharing that sense of wonder and inspiration with others. Imagine giving someone a galaxy in a jar as a gift. It's not just a pretty object, it's a conversation starter, a reminder of the beauty and mystery that surrounds us all.
I can just picture it, sparking a conversation about the Big Bang, the formation of stars, the possibility of life on other planets. Who knows? Maybe it could even inspire someone to pursue a career in science or art.
Exactly. It's about igniting that spark of curiosity, that thirst for knowledge and understanding. And the best part is it's accessible to everyone. You don't need a fancy telescope or a degree in astrophysics to appreciate the beauty of the cosmos.
As we're talking about this, I'm realizing that creating a galaxy in a jar is almost a metaphor for life itself. You
Yeah.
start with a blank canvas, you add different elements, you experiment, you make mistakes, but ultimately, you create something beautiful and unique.
That's a profound observation. And just like no two galaxies are exactly alike, no two galaxy jars will ever be identical.
Right.
Each one is a reflection of the creator's individual vision, their personal interpretation of the cosmos.
And that ties back to the symbolism we talked about earlier. It's not just about creating a replica of a galaxy.
Ah.
It's about expressing yourself, your own inner universe, through this creative act.
Precisely. It's about taking inspiration from the vastness of space and channeling it into something personal and meaningful.
This deep dive is really making me rethink my whole approach to crafting. It's not just about following instructions. It's about exploration, experimentation, and self-expression. Okay, before we get too philosophical, I have to ask, is there anything else from the research that really jumped out at you, something we haven't touched on yet?
Well, what's fascinating is that just like in the real universe, no two galaxy jars will ever be exactly the same.
Hmm,
Each one becomes like a unique creation reflecting the choices made by the person who made it.
that's such a cool thought. Each jar is like a tiny, self-contained universe
Mm.
with its own personality, its own story.
And if we connect that back to the symbolism we discussed earlier,
Right.
it raises an interesting question. What does your galaxy say about you?
Ooh, I like that. It's like a cosmic personality test.
Yeah.
If your galaxy jar were on display, what would it tell the world? Are you a bold spiral of vibrant colors or a more subtle, elegant elliptical? Maybe you're a burst of chaotic beauty like an irregular galaxy full of surprises.
Exactly. It becomes an invitation to not just create something beautiful, but to like reflect on what those choices reveal about your own inner universe.
This whole deep dive has been incredible. We've gone from those mind-blowing images of real galaxies to crafting our own pocket-sized version.
It's been fun.
We've explored the science behind those swirling clouds and sparkling stars, and even uncovered some deeper meaning and symbolism along the way.
For sure.
And hopefully we've sparked a little cosmic curiosity in you too. So, what are you waiting for? Go grab those jars, unleash your inner artist astronomer, and create a galaxy that reflects the wonders within you. Who knows? You might even discover something new about yourself in the process.